Hello everyone, time to go into a tutorial on how I make a push dagger from gears. So these are gears from a hydraulic motor, have very high surface hardness, very durable metal. I cut them, clean them, stack them inside of a metal canister with some powder. Once the powder fills all the voids, I weld a cap on it and weld a handle. Then it goes into my press. This press is rated for 40 tons. I have a limiter that limits that. So I'm just going to work this tube down and draw it out and lengthen it and compress it. I'm at 2250 degrees here. Then I extract that billet from the canister and cut and turn and restack these pieces so that the pattern's facing on the sides. And here I'm compressing these. I do several heats. I don't show it in the video. I do several heats compressing this and then I draw it out. So that restack gets the gear pattern on the sides. Because originally when they're in the can, they were vertical. And this is what it looks like after restack and an edge. This is the gear pattern. Really love this pattern. And that's 4% nickel powder that I use to fill in the voids there. Yeah, this pattern just came out beautiful. So I'm going to throw this in my bandsaw. This cut destroyed a $100 bandsaw blade. Just destroyed it. These gears are very hard. So I took a slice off of that. I welded a handle on that. And I start drawing that down here. I'm drawing this to a point. I'm going to pinch off the nose of that, the very tip, and close that. And I'll cut some of that waste off. That's a guarantee that you're going to have, it's going to be homogeneous on that tip. So that's a guarantee you'll get that. And so I do another heat here. Here I'm shaping this dagger and shaping it down, getting the basic shape. And I do thin this a little bit, but I need this pretty thick. This is going to be a really stout, very stout blade. And I'm going to put a really good edge on this. And this material can get a pretty good hardness. But here it is. I've separated it from the rest of that material. And I'm hand forming that where it's going to transition into the handle. I'm hand forming that, drawing that out, getting that even. And I tuned up a little bit of those surfaces. Here's the finished forging. And I made sure I forged. Those gears are going to morph. Those gears will morph and blend with the shape. So here it is on my pelt grinder. And I'm just surfacing this, getting the surfaces trued up and squared and developing the edge. And getting that done. So here's going to be the handle. This is some twist Damascus that I'm rounding off and I'm turning it into a piece of rod, round rod, that's going to be machined. And so I'm going to cut that off after I forged that out and drew that out to approximately, it was about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Then after it's drawn, cut, separated, I'm machining it in my lathe and getting that diameter very consistent, cutting a nice finish on that. Then I'm going to throw it in my mill and I'm going to mill a slot here using a very small ball cutter. And there's going to be a slight angle to this, but this blade is going to press into, this push dagger is going to press into that handle. And that's the initial fit up there after milling. Now I'm going to cut finger grooves in this handle. This handle will have some finger grooves. So I just took a 9/16 diameter end mill and I just basically kind of drilled downward and cut these finger grooves in this. And here's the finished, well, kind of finished. It's coming along really nice. And so I think I have an etch coming up. Oh no, I heat treat it first. Yeah, so here we go. This heat treat came out. I got this at really high hardness, right at 60 on this knife, on the Rockwell C scale. That's according to some hardness files, which the hardness files usually read a little low or high, I'm sorry. So if the hardness files that I have are like 60, it was probably a 58 or a 59. Here's the pattern after a quick etch. Look at this pattern, guys. It almost looks like flames, or I really don't know. Flames, and I didn't grind it. I forged that out to shape. So those gears conform and mold to the shape. Really just came out beautiful. So the handle gets pressed in, it was a kind of a press fit. And then I do a rosette weld here in my TIG welder. Uh, it was slightly below the surface, and I welded up and built that up with the weld. Got good penetration. I ground that flush. I ground that weld flush. So that is very secure. It was a press fit, and that's welded in the back. So this is like very, very sturdy. It, it there's the handle is no play. It's a press fit, and then it's welded on the back. So here's some more shots of this pattern. I'm in love with this pattern, guys. Um, and I'm gonna develop this idea a little more. I have some other knife ideas, maybe a sword that I can do with these gears. And I love this gear Damascus. I love it. And it's a little bit of a struggle. It was a steep learning curve I had. But here's the handle after some etch. So you can see the helical striations here in this handle from the twist Damascus. The pattern, I like the pattern how it goes around, and then you look inside these finger grooves and the pattern kind of changes and there's small variations in it. I kind of like the randomness of it. And that's what I love about a lot of this knife making, especially Damascus. Sometimes you don't know what the exact pattern will etch. And you have an idea. Um, and the more you do it, you kind of build like a mental history of what it will do. But so this is eighth of an inch Kydex. It's called. I bought it on Amazon, and this is my homemade little Kydex press I made. I made it out of concrete form board material, inch and an eighth plywood. It's very stout. I got some very stout hinges. It's a 4x4 bolted on the back, and this is a very sturdy little cheaply built Kydex press. I had good results. The foam too. It's a special type of foam, and I bought that on Amazon as well. So, and here I heat this up with my heat gun. Nothing fancy. And some people use a little toaster oven. I've had really good results with this little heat gun because I can actually heat certain areas a little hotter than what I in certain areas don't have to be as pliable. So you heat this, it gets kind of pliable, and you have a little window, it cools, and then you clamp it in your press here, and I have a clamp. I throw a clamp on it. I left it overnight. I came out here and opened this up, and it conforms perfectly around the knife. Now this is gonna like a little clip fit. The knife, because of the bevel, will kind of lock into place. This knife is so sharp, guys. This little push dagger is so sharp that I was actually worried about it being loose. It's a gift for a friend, actually, and so I wanted to make sure if you put it in something, it would cut it. You know what I mean? It's actually dangerous. It's so sharp and so pointy that it needs to be in a little thing, and it just clicks in place. Look at that, click. It's like perfect, and doesn't shake out or nothing. So it locks in. So here's my little screws, and these screws lock in. They go through these holes and kind of tension it together because they are two pieces. This Kydex here. So these pieces, these little screws, they're called open back post, and they just tension this together. And here it is. It clicks in place perfectly, locks in place. Doesn't fall out. You can, as much as you shake this, it's a real positive connection. It clicks in. And it's just a beautiful piece. The pattern came out beautiful. I love the little Kydex little sheath for it. It's a very positive connection, locks in place. You could throw this in a purse or in a bag. I almost was going to put like a belt loop on it. And you can open this with one hand. You can press your thumb against that thing and pop that off. But anyway, it's just came out beautiful. So here it is, some better shots. Outside, you can look at this. I just thought I'd include a bunch of extra shots. This pattern I really don't know what it looks like. Flames, kind of. Um, two hands reaching out to each other or something. I don't really know. But the consensus, most people that look at this say it looks like flames. So I put a lot of work into this one, guys. Tell me what you think. I did my best to keep this video under 10 minutes. It was hard. I had a lot of video to shoot, but I really want to thank you guys for hanging in there and stay safe out there. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.